What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Banks for me, and today make back another video, man. Today I'm reacting to Judge Joe Brown, but apparently this time is different. It ain't even a court video this time. This guy is exposing the truth apparently about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I'm not gonna lie, I was a fan of the movie. I want to go see the movie 2 times. You feel me? So I have a good observation, understanding of the movie. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep my thoughts to myself for now and see what Joe has to say, and then I'm gonna react to it. Let's get straight to it. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe if you're new to the channel, man. Let's get straight to it, y'all.
For all your hemp wellness needs, information, products, parties, and merch, visit thebudplug.com.
It's Mike Ross, also known as Mike on the Mic. He's getting ready for his upcoming 2020.
Alright, first of all, we need to go straight to the violence, straight to the video, man. You know what I'm saying? We got no time for this improv. Want to watch it on your own time? Please, the original video down below in the description.
Otherwise, these bastards will cheat you out of it, and they will stab you in the back, and then they cut each other's throats and then grin about it and ship scrabbly and nibble cheese and crackers, you know, sitting on the leather upholstery in a 5-star hotel's bar area. And I tell you what, too, let's look at something else. They make us pay the tax. Black Panther. Disney and ABC badly needed some money. Why? They jacked up some white folk in this thing, so you want to be a millionaire. So the people that felt aggrieved sued them for about $7-8 million. Well, they won, and ABC and Disney kept appealing, and finally they got through the federal system, went up to the 9-member Court of Appeals for the 9th Circuit. It's an interesting opinion. It starts off, it seems that this industry does not recognize Rule 1 in American contract law, and that is all parties are expected to deal with each other well, taking the language, just straight up and be honest, in good faith, okay? They said, we'll fix that. So they raised the judgment from the requested $7 or $8 million to $580 million. That was in 2011. And the United States Supreme Court refused to hear it, so it was affirmed. So there's no appeal. So the plaintiffs hold liens against all ABC property in the country and all Disney property. And most of the rides at Disney World down in Florida, and a lot of them at Disneyland, had everything that came out of it other than operational expenses going through to the plaintiffs. So they couldn't pay the interest, and the judgment had risen over $1 billion some. So Hollywood has very little cash. They do a lot of reciprocity and exchanges and all of this other stuff. So they came up with the Black Panther movie. And my sources tell me they were discussing it in the hallways about predictably how they could get black folk to pay a lot of money. Now, what did they do? They got a formula. I used to hear them discuss it when my show was with Paramount. Now, the formula is interesting, but let's take that movie. The worst thing in the movie was that last battle between the men and the women of the tribe trying to kill each other. The women committed treason by propping up the old Panther that Killmonger had defeated. Killmonger didn't have any super drug in him to give him super strength. He beat the Panther's ass, fair and square, threw him off in the water. The guy survived. Well, the babes committed treason against the rules of the culture, and they go to help it. Now, who did they go to enlist in their effort to overthrow the now rightful King Killmonger? They go and get some black folk who live where it snows all the time in caves, cavemen, and this is supposed to be in Africa. Where? Mount Kilimanjaro on the other side of the continent from.
Yeah.
Hey man, bro. First of all, what are you talking about, bro? Like, do you not know your geography, bro? There is literally snow tribes in the continent, bro. Remember, this is a continent. That's like saying that's kind of ignorant. I'm not gonna lie. That's like saying Mexico and Canada got the same weather. You know what I'm saying? That's very ignorant. I'm not gonna lie. There's some countries I'm telling you that be cold, be having snow and all that. So be careful what you're talking about, player. Or
You see, and then they don't have any black men that can fly that virtual fighter plane. They got to get a white CIA guy to do it. And you don't see any black men doing a damn thing except in the background as spectators are pushing a cart. They got that guy with the big lip disc in who's some kind of preacher stand-in. Yeah, they got that, but the mama runs things, the aunt runs things. His bodyguards are actually his keepers who tell him and nag him about what to do and not to do. And he runs around in some tights playing vigilante. Now, Killmonger, meanwhile, his daddy was the brother of the past king. And what was he doing? They listed him as being in some projects, public housing on the West Coast, and he's trying to teach these boys how to be men. So he gets killed because he wants to take the technology that Wakanda has, Wakanda has, whatever the hell the name is, and use it to subdue Africa and take over the whole world and impose peace. So he goes through MIT. He graduates at 19. He's a rocket scientist. He becomes a SEAL. He's so badass they give him a nickname Killmonger. He plans, plots, and gets his head together for revolution. He's supposed to be the bad guy, and they have him talking what Frederick Douglass said, Marcus Garvey said, Du Bois said, Malcolm X said, a little of what Martin said, and what H.Rap Brown said, and they make him the villain. And they got all these little black kids and black women, hey, they're cheering for him to be put down. You know, so they make him the villain.
I see what he's saying right there. I'm not gonna lie, because there's some points where Killmonger was right. But the thing is, y'all gotta watch the movie, because at the end of the day, I feel like they led to that part where they realized Killmonger was right. So that's where they went to America at the end of the Black Panther movie. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not defending it, but I'm just saying, like, I see what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Because there's points where Killmonger was right at some points. I'm not gonna front and sit here and say he was a villain 100%. He was right. A lot of points he was right. It's kind of like a thing where it's like a by any means necessary. He's a more by any means necessary type vibe, you know what I'm saying? He just gets get it over with. Let's go, you know what I'm saying? Let's take on revolution time, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, you know what I mean?
And in the comic book, Killmonger is a person that engages in illicit drug sales and sex trafficking, where the Black Panther, who sounds like Killmonger in the comics, goes from Africa to Harlem to go deal with him because of his international influence negatively on black folk. They flipped the script all the way around.
Damn!
And then the final thing,
that would have been
when
cool,
you have
too.
one of those Marvel movies, if you wait through the credits, you'll get more to the movie. And then finally, the Black Panther is telling all these white people in the UN that they're going to help them. And the guy says, excuse me, with due respect, sir, why in the world would we be interested in what some backwoods agricultural place has to offer us? See, so, I mean, it's like that was predictable. And I'm so angry about one bad circumstance. Not so much that it was the highest grossing superhero movie of all time, but out of every city in America, the highest gross for box office came out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Wow.
The largest predominantly black city in America. Yeah. And they had folk buying up 25, 30, 50 tickets at a time for parties they organized 2 and 3 weeks in advance. And you can't even get them out to organize saving their own neighborhoods like that.
Right.
So I'm just saying, damn, they ripped us off. And then I got the word back. They were rejoicing. Yeah, we got the African American bunch once again bailed us out. See, that's how these folk got established more than 50 years ago.
Right.
The movie industry was going bankrupt in the face of color TV. And every Thursday and Sunday, every movie theater in America had 2 new movies, plus cartoons and a sub feature. And that made the studios come up with several hundred movies or productions a year. And they couldn't afford it in the face of color TV. So they got a bright idea, and they had all these newbies who were part of this cabal that came in, and they said, look, let us pose something for you. One, instead of having 2 new movies every Thursday and Sunday, let's keep the movies as long as people will come, and let's tap all of this cash out there in underrepresented communities. We want to deal with the black community. We call ourselves black then. So what did they do? Said, we're not going to give them all of these things we give white people because they can't see themselves being leaders and businessmen.
I heard that before, actually.
All of this, that, and the other. We need to appeal to the lowest common denominator. So let them be caught up in our glorification of pimps, hoes, drug dealers, gangsters, robbers, murderers, burglars, every kind of punk ass, whatever we can think of, and get all of their money. And then they had, Black Caesar had a football player, Fred the Hammer Williams. And he played this drug dealer who was also a hitman, and he rides off into the sunrise smoking a big cigar after they had this shootout in Long Beach, and no LAPD, no sirens or nothing, and the place is full of dead folk after this shootout. All right, and then 18 months later they have, Superfly, Rod O'Neal, with a wig on top and his hair pressed.
So, I mean to cut him off, but you know what I'm saying? I feel like he's dragging a little bit. But what I wanted to say is just all this anger, why don't we just start creating our own stories, cuz? I'm tired of this, this activism. I feel like he done his time, Judge Joe Brown done his thing, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like us, the new generation, we gotta, create our own stories, bruh. We got YouTube now as a platform. We got all these other websites, you know what I'm saying? There's Netflix. We can pitch in ideas and just keep it going. The creativity, I don't know if the creativity is there. We just don't want to work in community or something. We don't work in teams. Bro, the world is so big, bro. We can do our own thing, bro. We don't got to always run for these people, bro. We don't always have to wait for validation from people. That's what I want to get out of y'all people, especially if you're black, bro. Stop wasting time trying to get validation from other people. Just do your thing, bro. Don't care. I don't know what this person. The white people gonna like this. Or this person gonna like this. The Asians gonna like. No, just do your thing, bro, and make it pop, bro.
Just driving a pimp mobile.
So I'm tired of the crying and complaining, bro. We gotta just start doing it, bro.
That's some deep shit, man. And Freddie's dead, but Superfly is what it is, and Rod O'Neal's characters, they do 5 more movies in the franchise, and everybody switched from wearing dashikis and afros and beards now broad collar platforms, fried their hair again, driving pimp mobiles, talking about, yeah, man, about that cane, man. And the FBI started flooding the neighborhoods with coke, and then you got the jackass in chief sitting in the White House. He in 1977 and 79 and 81 with John B. Stennis and Eastland, James O. Eastland and Byrd, all these racist Klansmen. They started putting stuff in place, and Biden was going around saying, 1 rock will get you 5 years in a federal penitentiary, and that means the whole 60 months. Not just a few months, 1 rock, and you got that crap going in because that came off of Freebase. Then you got that crackhead Hunter Biden son of his. Right. You see see that dude's teeth, man? Damn, he must have been doing crystal meth too on top of the crack. That dude's teeth
Hey,
rotten
man,
as
I'm
hell.
tripping, bro. That's how you know.
Like he came out the Middle Ages someplace, somewhere down on a country ass farm, down in the swamp somewhere.
Damn.
Down in Louisiana.
I kind of got a two-part question to add on to the whole Black Panther thing. One will be part two of the movie. It seems like it's like a women thing going on with that, especially the cover. And then the death of Chadwick Boseman. They say he died from cancer. Obviously, it looked like it. Do you think that?
Yeah.
Could you speak on that?
Well, let me put it this way. Did you see the movie Jackie Robinson, 42?
Mm-hmm.
See the one on Thurgood Marshall?
Mm-hmm.
See the one on Joe Louis?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see Gods of Egypt?
Didn't see that one.
No.
See it.
Okay.
Somebody plays the flamer in that, who is the god of wisdom. I mean, just flaming. You can feel the heat all the way back in the 37th row of the theater.
Mm.
That's part of this thing where they identified the parts not with the character but the actor. So they're trying to push fluid gender. So this same person plays a badass boxer, a hell of a lawyer and civil rights activist who used to be known as Mr. Baseball because he always carried a baseball bat. He was notorious for warming somebody's head. That's Thurgood Marshall, and he always had a requirement when he went someplace, have me a 12 gauge and a carton of buckshot. So if it comes to that, we can deal with it. And Mr. Baseball, number 42, 44, 42, yeah. And you see, you can be flamer, you can be boxer, you can be baseball player, you can be brilliant scholar. That's what they did, or you can be superhero. So that's what they were doing. And this movie, the next one coming up, it's like Woman King.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really poisonous. You know what the story is behind that? First off, there was no woman king. They had a queen, but there was an active king. There were three brothers, blood kin in Dahomey. And they were tribal nobility. Well, the tribe in question was paying tribute to the Yoruba up north of them in Nigeria. So they hooked up a deal with the white folk, the Dutch and the English, to supply large number of slaves for them. What they did is interesting. They had every guy who was an official or a war chief countered by a woman counterpart who was close to him by kinship or something. And the king kept the women in the court with him so he could control them. And he gave each woman veto power over what their male relative or kin did as an administrator or as a war chief, so he could keep things under control. He would not allow any of the African aristocrats to participate, so there would be no rival. And he did set up a small unit of Amazons to go around and try to do a little police work or report back to him. So that continued for quite a few decades when the slave trade was going on. When the Europeans said no more slave trade, and the Americans and chief sitting in the White House, he in 1977 and 79 and 81 with John B. Stennis and Eastland, James O. Eastland and Byrd, all these racist Klansmen, they started putting stuff in place, and Biden was going around saying, 1 rock will get you 5 years. in a federal penitentiary. And that
Oh, hold on. I don't know what just happened. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. This thing just glitched in front of my eyes. Hold on.
of Amazons to go
There we
around
go.
and try to do a little police work or report back to him. So that continued for quite a few decades when the slave trade was going on. When the Europeans said no more slave trade, and the Americans in the Constitution said no more slave importation after, I think it's either 1807 or 1806, somewhere there, 1808. They decided to suppress it, and they quickly fell. So there was no woman king anyway. But what they did is the feminists glorified this to get people used to the idea, and they are
See,
glorifying
this is
some
where
people.
he's wrong, bro. Because I mean, understanding that particular tribe in Naomi, something like that. I'm not too familiar with the West African stuff, but I know in like Southern African tribes, especially like one in Angola. You know what I'm saying? We had a queen, Anna Njinga. You know what I'm saying? She was a queen, no joke, and she actually had like she had people. You know what I'm saying? She was a real queen. She was a real queen of the Mbundu people. She was a real queen. She had people. She had Portuguese traders, aka slave settlers at the time, actually go on their knees to talk to her, you know what I'm saying? And they were men too, you know what I'm saying? So this whole ideology of, oh yeah, you know, there was no woman king, no kudududududu. First of all, one thing you gotta realize about African languages, specifically like Bantu ones, there was no such thing as a masculine and a feminine word. That's where y'all get that messed up. There's no such thing as a king. It's like a ruler. The word, it means ruler or like leader. There's no such thing as king or queen. That's more of a Eurocentric term, right? Terms. So that's one thing y'all gotta understand. Like kings and queens doesn't really exist. It's more ruler, someone noble. And it's also possible there is many, and you gotta remember, like Africa is a very diverse place, right? Because a lot of people say, "Oh man, Africa they ain't gonna have no queen." Yeah, and that's not true at all, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. They's probably blending different things, different cultures around. But I understand also what he's saying about like there's an agenda. Maybe possibly there is an agenda going on, but I'm not buying the whole thing. Like, oh yeah, in Africa they will know that this. Oh yeah, in Africa, because a lot of y'all just talking without talking. You know, I mean talking just to talk. You know what I'm saying? Personally, what I think though is y'all need to really do history and read books, and you got to realize this is the pre-colonial days before the society was what it is today. Before these guys took full control of the society, it was not the same world we living in today. Roles, gender roles, all this and that was not the same at all. It was more like it was a different society. I'm gonna just say that, you know what I'm saying? Just to make y'all understand, in a lot of African languages, specifically the Bantu languages, there was no gendered words like that. Unless there's like boy and girl, yeah, like stuff like that. But when it comes to like, you know how English, not English, you know, like in French, Spanish, Portuguese, there's like gendered words and stuff like that, feminine and masculine verbs and all their conjugations and all that. We don't have that. You know what I'm saying? So person is person, you know what I'm saying? Muntu is muntu, you know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all actually take the time to read things before people just take the time to read things before you make assumptions, because I'm telling y'all, like, y'all, a lot of people are running with misinformation going on, you know what I'm saying? Just remember that. And queens did exist back then. They existed in East Africa, they existed in Southern Africa, and possibly West Africa, bro. And they had a lot of power, bro. Don't get it twisted, bro. Don't be thinking, oh yeah, you know, oh, it's to demasculate. No, none of that, bro. It's none of that at all. It's a totally different game, I'm telling y'all, bro. And one thing I'll put y'all on some game is too, a lot of the ancient religions too. Guess who was the god? It wasn't no man, my player. Anyways, y'all, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. It's your boy B2S, you feel me? I'm gonna end it off here because I feel like he just rambling off right now, and I don't know, I didn't get that much game in my opinion. I'm scratching my head right now because, you know, the braids be itchy as hell. But anyways, y'all, if you made this far, I appreciate it. Much love to you. It's your boy B2X, you feel me? And I'm out this bit, man. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm gonna win 100K, man. Let's get it poppin'.